I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything.
How we doing, everybody? Welcome, betters. Look, today may be a little inside baseball, so if you're not up for it, I totally get it. All right. This is going to be a very sort of personal video today. Please allow me that. I make videos every day. Can I take one like this? Yes. Just thought it would be important to address some points that came out of something that happened this morning. That's all. Vetted is getting called out essentially. And I like to respond this way because this is, I can add nuance, caveat, if you will, to what I want to say, because trying to tweet something out and explain myself, it just never works out. I can't explain myself that way. You can't see my eyes. You can't get my tone right. I can add more context. Now, let me just say, I'm not upset. I think this is, brings up some good points that are well worth discussing for this channel, for the future of this channel, about UFO disclosure in general. You'll see what I mean. So first, I want to say shout out to all the mods that are in the chat today. Thank you guys so much for working the chat. I do want to say this. Let people criticize me in the comments today, as long as it's not vile or disruptive. They keep spamming the same comment. Let's allow it. I'm a, you know, I make this channel. I'm out here. I deserve to be criticized. And it's just part of what comes with it. That's all it is. Do I prefer constructive criticism? Well, of course. But not everyone does that. So whatever. As long as it's not disruptive, let's allow it. It's all good. Let people say what they want. Freedom of speech, y'all. All right, look, let's jump into this story, okay? And just start. Let's just start. So let me share my screen. We'll go through some tweets here. All right, so it started with this tweet that I put out right here. You can see on the screen. Chris Melon will testify at November 13th UAP hearing, ? And I capitalized will. So this is how I would say that title. Chris Melon will testify at November 13th UAP hearing. That's what the ? adds. It, will, like he is, right? But some people read it as Chris Melon will testify at November 13th UAP hearing with the ? It's like, that's what that ? does. But again, it's subjective. People are going to read that and think their own thing, take away from it what they want. How can I possibly control that? And how can I possibly live up to everyone's different expectations of what my titles and thumbnails should look like? Just being real, right? So just starting there. All right. Now, what happens? So let's get to... So this gentleman right here, D. Dean Johnson, tweets this out. Some X accounts have suggested that Chris Melon would be or was likely to be a witness at the November 13th UAP hearing before two subcommittees of the Oversight and Accountability of the U.S. House of Representatives. I vetted those claims. Melon will not be testifying this time. And here's a picture of mine. Chris Melon will testify, and he, got the will there, right, around my title, puts the date. Okay. Then this is an email from Chris Mellon to Douglas Dean, right? Chris Mellon responds, "Hi, Douglas. I agreed to testify in September and was very much looking forward to appearing. However, I have a long planned trip with my wife that conflicted with the new date. New date, meaning there was an old date. What was that old date? That's interesting. So I guess it was going to be in September. Very disappointing, as I have some information and ideas to impart that I think could have been helpful and of considerable interest. Perhaps another time. Regards, Chris Mellon." Now, we'll get into this tweet a little bit later and what that means and this vacation and all of that, because I've definitely got some comments there. All right, one second here. Let me find something else that I want to bring up. Okay. Okay, so he puts this out, right? And let me see where I'm at here. Okay. And then I quote tweet it and write this. "People clearly didn't watch my video. My title has a question mark. I reported what was being said and said multiple times in the video that it was being alleged and not 100%. I never said he would be or likely would be. Nuance is lost in this field. Oh, and by the way, Chris Mellon won't testify because he'll be vacationing. These hearings are absolutely pointless." All right, I was a little testy there at the end, right? Let's be real. That's me being testy, by the way. But let's break this down. And again, let me state that I respect Dean a lot. I follow his reporting, I follow his stuff, and I wasn't really upset by this, to be honest. I can understand where people come from, to be honest with you. And I spoke with Dean through messages behind the scenes, okay, that I'm not going to reveal here, but basically just the gist is that I asked him some questions and stuff. I'm cool with them. I have zero problem with the guy. I respect immensely his contribution to the topic. And we talked about some other things, some things I was going to share and that he was going to allow me to share, but I just didn't want to mix it in with this video today about other stuff, to be honest with you. But yeah, so I respect the guy 100%. I'm just trying to explain where I was coming from making the video. That's it. That's all. And he's allowed his opinion on this, right? Completely. As am I. That's it. I have a platform. I'm going to use it. All right. So I tweet that out, and then he responds to my tweet with this: nuance such as the all caps bold will testify. That's how I would say it. Will testify, because I'm equally as surprised, right? Will testify. Like, holy cow, people are saying he is going to testify. I think some of unless you watch my videos and understand me a little bit more and how I title things in my thumbnail, like, you may not get the meaning behind what I'm trying to convey as well, right? Because I'm saying that, ironically, right? Like, he will testify, like, you know what I mean? But I get it. If you're not familiar with the show, you're not familiar with me, you're not familiar, I get it, okay? I totally understand. And again, my seat keeps dipping, y'all. My apologies. I get it, right? Like, okay, so he writes, "A nuance such as the all caps bold will testify. But that aside, what did Melon say when you asked him whether the wispy rumor you heard was true? Before you posted a video disseminating the wispy rumor far and wide, albeit with caveats." All right. Fair. Zing. Fair enough, right? People are allowed to say, again, what they want. But I will say this too. No one reached out to me. Dean didn't reach out to me before putting out his tweet and confirming why I put what I put or why I said what I said. I'm just saying, if we're talking about emailing to confirm things. But But again, he did email Chris Melon and get that response. And now we have more information than we had before because of my title and video. Now, granted, you could say, well, Dean had to come in and pick up the pieces. All right, fair enough. That's fair. Should I have maybe emailed Chris Mellon? I have his email. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not a journalist. I don't claim to be a journalist. I'm a YouTuber here. I'm an ex-chef with a mic. I always say that. I went from a knife to a mic. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. Remember, I have no anonymous sources. I provide zero claims on this channel. I report on what other people claim. That's what I do here. That's it. I open conversation, dialogue, right? A public vetting, if you will. Now, granted, opening myself up to that name, there's going to be jokes. I get it. I totally get it. But my whole goal at Vetted is just to create open, respectful dialogue about this topic and report on what other people claim. Again, I don't have anonymous sources. I don't make claims. Find me videos where I've made claims. Other people come on and had their claims, and then I've had questions for them. But I don't say I got a story. You know, if someone has a story, they bring it. They put their face to it. I may say I'm bringing you an exclusive story, but that person's coming. I'm not doing it anonymously. I'm just saying. So, and I think that's just it. People just don't understand what Vetted is, what we are, right? It's like every podcast or YouTube channel or social media account that covers the topic is just put in the same box. Should have the same standards, same responsibilities. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. One, I believe people should be allowed to do with their stuff whatever they want, however they want. I think the term journalist gets thrown around very loosely, just like the term chef got thrown around very loosely when I was doing it, right? You're not a chef unless you run a kitchen. Otherwise, you're just a cook. There's nothing wrong with that. And just because you call yourself a chef doesn't mean you're a good chef. I've never claimed to be a great chef. I had a business running it. People liked my food for a while, but by no means would I consider myself a great chef. But the term journalist gets thrown around. And just because you say you're a journalist doesn't mean you're a good one. But there's a big reason why I don't get involved with all that. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to be a journalist. I never studied that. I'm just a normal, average Joe discussing this topic. Like the average person that watches this show has the same questions, concerns. That's all. I don't have any special powers, special connections. I'm no more important than you are watching this. Your opinion is equally as valid as mine. And that's all what I say here is opinion. And I report on things other people are claiming to share it, to spread it so you're aware of it. That's it. That's what Vetted is. You can come and see what other people are claiming, right? Maybe you don't have time to watch 18 4-hour podcasts every week. So you can come to my show, maybe get some highlights and make your own mind up. Don't I always say that on the channel? Make your own mind up. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. So again, I respect Dean a lot and what he brings to this. He also provided the document confirming the hearing that's happening. And I get his concern where he's coming from. If he sees a channel like mine, right, and doesn't know much about it and just, oh, okay, falsely reporting this stuff. And to be fair, on Twitter, a lot of people falsely report things and claim to have inside sources. And maybe he's just frustrated with that and thought I was in that mix. And I totally get it. I do. I totally understand because I have the same frustrations within the community of people who have inside sources and who are literally making things up. And they can because they'll just caveat it with, that's from my inside source. Right. And then if they're wrong, well, my source was wrong. Right. So again, I understand Dean's concern and I understand why he put this out. And look, I had a response for Dean here, which I was just trying to be funny a little bit here, right? Because yeah, I said, "Wait, is this a Twitter beef? Let me get my clever comebacks ready, LOL. Just kidding. First, let me state I'm a fan of your work and follow your work on Facebook and Twitter. So respect, as the kids say. Now, even you admit my caveats. They may not be up to your standards, but I would argue that's subjective. I stand by that. I get the dig at vetting, well played. And by having a YouTube channel called that, I open myself up for clever comments such as yours. So again, I totally get that. There's going to be things that come my way about that name of the channel, which to be fair, I'd probably make the same joke. So it's all good. Thought it was a fun name. It was available online and it's that simple. Not much more to it. I write, you clearly seem upset or at bare minimum perturbed. I will be addressing this in my video today, adding numerous quote caveats. I'm not a journalist, never claimed to be one. In fact, I state that all the time. Have a good day. Peace. And again, I have nothing but respect for Dean. After this, before this, during this, all of it. He was very kind to me in private DMs and answered all my questions and was very cool. So again, I have zero problems with him. But it does bring up the question of what are the responsibilities of YouTube channels, podcasts who report on this to you, the viewer, right? What responsibilities do I have, right? Is that for you to decide for me, or do I decide that myself and then you either come along for the ride or you don't? Which one would be, in my position, if you were me, which one would be easier to control? Which one would be easier for me to maintain long term? In my opinion, I do me, and you either come along for the ride or you don't. And of course, I'm open to criticism and advice and um, constructive feedback and all of that. Absolutely, doesn't mean I'll implement it, but I'm all ears. But at the end of the day, I just have to be me, and you either follow along or you don't. Because if I try to change myself at every minute that some people want me to change, like then one, I'll lose who I am. And two, that will change. And you don't know the sincerity of people who comment at you anonymously. Just saying. You know what I mean? It's just interesting. So again, this is very inside baseball today. And I apologize. You don't have to stick around. I totally get it. I'm not sharing any new news or anything like that. This is strictly about the channel and me, right? So some podcast and YouTube channels, there are journalists that cover this, right? Or they write articles, whatever. I get it. And they have sources, and I get it. And I get that that's a part of journalism. Okay? I totally understand that. And honestly, you should check for multiple sources, right? But again, I can't just be like, well, I'm a journalist. What training? Where have I learned something? Nothing. I would never claim that. And I never have. I never would, because I respect titles that are earned. It's that simple. And I'm not here to call anyone out who's claiming to be a journalist. They do them. You either follow them or you don't, right? They either come through on their claims or they don't. That's up to you and that creator. I can only worry about me and what I do on this channel. But I basically just try to, again, create that open dialogue. So again, I hope I've expressed that enough. If there's more, I'll explain as we go. But I do want to get to this. I guess there is a little bit of news. I do want to get to this email from Chris Melon. to Douglas here. Right. I agreed to testify in September and was very much looking forward to appearing. All right. So part of the title and thumbnail was true. He was going to testify, right, in September. And I don't know where Spaced Out Radio, right, when I reported on that, where they got that information. I don't know. I was reporting that they had said that. And in my video, I left it very clear that that's what's being reported. I even have the clip from yesterday's live stream that I was going to play for y'all to show that that's all I was implying in yesterday's video. But you know what? You can go back and watch it. You can see, decide for yourself what you thought I said. But regardless, so there was going to be a hearing in September, and he was going to testify. However, he says, I have a long planned trip with my wife that conflicted with the new date. I don't know how I feel about that. Got to be honest. It's just raw reaction, right? When I first see this, I mean, you saw my tweet, right? These hearings are pointless. That's what I wrote, right? He won't be there because he's vacationing with a long planned trip with his wife. I just don't know how I feel about that. I thought there was this imminent danger headed for Earth, right? These ET are on the planet right now with bases, and there's several species, and pilot safety, and all of these things. Hang on a second. My camera. 2 seconds, y'all. That is funny. Right. I just vacationing. If it's so important, you can't move a vacation around. I mean, I'm married. I get that, like, Dean went on to Robert Dean or sorry, Douglas Dean, Robert Dean, went on to say, in subsequent tweets, like, here, I'll just show it, what his response was to that. Right. He says, here, I'll read it. It's kind of hard to see there. I'm not acquainted with Melon's wife, but telling a spouse a longstanding trip must be canceled because a hearing date was changed might give new meaning to the term catastrophic disclosure. A commitment to a spouse is not a thing to be taken lightly. It's just one hearing. So that's his response to that. I mean, I'll push back a little. What does it mean? Nothing. It's just my opinion. But yeah, that doesn't make me happy. That doesn't make me happy at all. We're being told it's not just a hearing, right? This is going to change. Look at what Jeremy Corbell said about this hearing. It's going to change everything. So I don't know. Again, it's almost like the hearing is just a date at the golf club on the weekend, right? Oh, I've got a long trip with my wife. I can't make this congressional hearing to be televised to millions of people to talk about potentially the greatest discovery in the history of mankind. But don't worry, there'll be more hearings. Will there? I don't think anyone can guarantee that. We can say they're planning on having more hearings, but that doesn't mean it will actually happen. Right? Just like I said in my stream yesterday, for anybody who watched, shouldn't these hearings be treated like there may be not another one? Treat it like it's the last hearing you'll ever have, because it may be. How many hearings have we had in the last 50 years like this? 2? There'll be more hearings. It's been 16 months since the last one. So I guess 2026. And look, I have nothing against Chris Melon. And again, I'm also married. I get it. But I'll be honest, I would absolutely tell my wife, I know we've had this trip planned, but congressional hearing. But I guess when you're at the level of Chris Melon, a hearing like that is, again, it's like a date at the at the, the golf course on Sunday, like a brunch club meeting or something. You know what I mean? It's like, not a big deal in my world. Holy, holy spagoli. That would be crazy. Right. I would absolutely, my wife would totally understand if I had to change things. I mean, what kind of vacation is it? It must be something that, wealthy people do, like a safari or I don't know, meeting with the Pope, the Vatican. I don't know what I get it. You put deposits down, you got stuff planned. It might be on a tour with people. Could be in Egypt, something you've set up with other people. You don't want to disappoint them or let them down. I get that. I understand. But it's also one day. Could he not fly in, do the hearing, and then get back to his vacation? I don't know. I'm not trying to be harsh. I just think that these are probably a lot of questions and concerns that people in the community would have, right? I'm sure I could be given an explanation that might ease my concerns, but I have to be honest, it's almost like the hearings are pointless. I mean, the last hearing, people didn't testify because they were threatened with their life or their job or their security clearance. And now we know that, I mean, some of these people just won't show up because they got other plans. So is this the most important, thing? Is this I thought this, national security, and we got drones flying around, quote unquote, drones flying around, sensitive military bases, interacting with our nuclear weapons. We got bases off Guadalupe Island. That's what's being reported. That's what's being claimed. It just, I got to be honest, I'm having like a crisis of faith here in this community about this topic as it relates to government disclosure, not the phenomena as a whole, because there's still just everyday people with experiences. And I don't forget that. But these sort of former military officials, it's like it's all BS. I can't trust anything. I mean, I got to be honest, this email, which no one has confirmed it is from Chris Melon. I'm just saying, Dean, Douglas put this out, but there's no second source to confirm it. I mean, if we're just being like, how critical do I need to be here? Right. Where do I stop? Because I can get very critical. Remember, I got a food mind. I can zone in and we can focus real hard if that's what needs to happen. Or I can take it lightly and it's just a Sunday afternoon brunch. Or it's Friday night service and we got 15 VIPs sitting in the restaurant. All right, it's time to get serious. Now I will dot every I 10 times and cross every T 100 to make sure this is all right before it goes out. We can get, as I call it, tweezer food. We can get that way, right? I don't think this community, I don't think it could, these stories and these claims out there, it couldn't withstand that sort of scrutiny. No offense. The stories and claims that are out there cannot stand any sort of scrutiny. The moment you start asking questions and asking for proof, crickets. More stories. More fake pictures. So, demanding vetting, multiple sources, spreading rumors. Here's my opinion. It's all rumors. Every story and tweet and video that gets made about this topic that goes out is all rumors. So then everything is spreading a rumor. Now, most of what Douglas puts out, to be honest, it's just facts about what's happening through the government perspective, right? And the rest of this isn't even about him, right? Again, I respect what he does, and I will continue to follow what he puts out. And I recommend you do the same. That's a great account to follow and really get to know the nuts and bolts of what's happening behind the scenes in the government. Like, okay, this hearing is happening. It's confirmed. This is what's confirmed. And that's it. There's no hubbub about it. There's no aliens or ET aspect to that. It's just nuts and bolts. And I can respect that. But that's not what I do here. I'm here to talk about all the claims that get made. And I don't know if there's people out there like me that hear these claims and go, again, I haven't had a personal UFO experience. So I can't lean on that like some of you do. Well, I know personally it's true. So XYZ. Well, I don't have that. And I know a lot of people are like me and don't have that either. Again, this channel is for entertainment purposes only. I'm here to discuss this stuff. I got to keep it light because if I, again, start to really scrutinize and really get in there to the weeds, it's not good. It doesn't look good on any story. Any story you start breaking down, it falls apart immediately. I'm just saying, we're stuck with, well, he's a credible person. Why would he lie about that? That's it. That's what we're stuck with. That's why we're supposed to believe everything we hear about this because they're credible people. Why would he lie? They had top security clearances. Why would they lie? So we must believe everything that comes out of their mouth. That's a hard pill for me to swallow because one thing I've learned in my life, even people that you think are credible, they lie too. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen people straight up lie to my face, even on this channel. Credible people. People you would say, why would they lie? They're trained observers, Patrick. Okay. People make mistakes. What the hell does that mean? Does that mean I'll listen to their story first? Sure. I'm open-minded. I want to hear every story. I'll decide what to do with the data. And just like you will, you'll decide what to do with the data. But man, not coming to a hearing because you're going on vacation, please help me make sense of that. Like in my mind, I can't. It doesn't compute. It's not making sense to me. And let's just argue that you do need to piss off your wife to go to this thing. Because we're being told that these hearings are just paramount to disclosure and this and that and humanity and national security and pilot safety again, right? So I guess basically the government can say that too. Well, we were going to do something about the UAP legislation, but we're all going on vacation. People will, if you're out here making claims, right? You're a former government official making claims. I'm sorry, like that's a totally different standard, right? We're asking for tax dollars to be invested in this. Yeah, we all have a right to say something as Americans. And in your own country too. Because that's what these hearings are about. More tax dollars spent looking into this topic, either for future purposes, right? What are we going to do about reporting this stuff and data release, right? And files being released and whistleblower protection and XYZ and all this stuff, right? That's taxpayer money, right? And then also opening investigations to look into how money is being misappropriated. Guess what? That costs money to do that. It costs money to look into money and time and energy from our Congress people that we elect into office to help run our country. And we don't get to say anything? We don't get to ask questions? What? That's going to happen. And we'll take it as seriously as you take it. So just going on vacation, well, then I guess we don't need to take it that seriously. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy the whole, well, you just don't want to piss off your wife. I get that, What? Any person who is married, I guarantee you, like on a surface level, yes, I get what you're saying. Happy wife, happy life, no problem. My wife says that to me all the time. We joke about it. But the idea that there can't be more serious things to be postponed, like, get out of here. Right? That'd be like not showing up to a funeral and being like, well, I had a vacation planned. Is this not more important than a funeral? This hearing? Again, that's what we're being told by multiple people in the community. And if that's not the case, then so some people think the hearings are serious and some people just think, well, there'll be more, so whatever. Again, somebody please explain to me how they can guarantee that we will have more UFO hearings after this. Show me where that is. How can you guarantee that? How can anyone guarantee that? What if there isn't another one for 3 years? Again, this one took 16 months, got rescheduled in September. And this is in the lame duck session right now, this hearing. Look how they titled it. Look where it's at. How seriously, really, do you think they're taking this in Congress? There's the world we want to live in, and then there's the world we actually live in. I get it. We want Congress to take this seriously. To what extent? How serious of an issue is this actually? If it's basically you can just, these hearings aren't really a big deal. We'll have more. I mean, I got other stuff to do, so whatever. Okay. Then I guess it's just not really that serious. That's where I end up with this, personally. I don't know, good or bad. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Would I love to see Chris Mellon testify? Absolutely. And I get it. They changed the date on him from September to November. I get it. But still, you can't fly out one day. Clearly, money's not an issue. If you're making these kind of vacations that, you know what I mean, can't be changed. Or the wife just doesn't think this is anything worth you should be spending your time with. And that's his personal thing. And I don't want to get into that. And the wife is off the table. Okay. It's nothing to do with this. I wouldn't want people bringing my wife into it. And again, I can understand that just from a human level. But again, putting it into perspective of this whole thing doesn't add up. Something's not right here, y'all. Something's not right about a lot of stuff. We got Lou Elizondo's picture, fiasco, in the aftermath of that. I don't know, man. I think I feel unmotivated a little. Just being honest. I feel a little unmotivated. I feel a little hurt, dismayed, disappointed. And all of these feelings are my own fault. I don't blame anyone for them in the sense that I set my own expectations. That's something I have to deal with. Right? If I'm disappointed, it's because of my expectations of said thing. And I realize that. But one thing I would say is there's probably a lot of people with the same expectations. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But how long can we keep going in this topic, going in circles before we get dizzy? And look, my goal isn't to spread false rumors on here, spread false information to you, deceive you in some way, clickbait you. Not at all. Do I want people to watch the videos? Well, of course. I mean, that goes without saying. But in no way do I have some sort of deception in my heart or something that, again, something to deceive you or not be truthful here, right? This is me. This is what it is. These are the claims made by people. I'm not making the claims. But people definitely get mad at me or upset by me or, upset with what I report. And And again, I definitely can understand certain criticism. I'm not perfect either, so I get it. I probably do make mistakes. I'm here to listen. I'm here to get feedback, especially from people I respect in the community. Again, but at the end of the day, I'll still do what I think needs to be done on the channel, right? And again, people either follow or they won't. It's that simple. So, look, I think the idea will be that this will just be talked about more. It's just how it is. That's what's happening behind the scenes with regular people. This is what they're talking about. These are people's concerns also. And I just think it's important to address that. That's it. That's that simple. So look, I guess I think I've said what I've said on that. I don't want to be just repeating myself here. If I miss something, I miss something. Let's get to some comments. See what people say. There may be more there. Today is my 9th sober birthday. Wow. That is awesome, Andre. What a feat that is. Let me say that first. What a feat. Congratulations. I mean that. Enhorabuena. If anyone out there is going through it, stay strong. It gets better. Hell yeah. Well said, Andre. And honestly, congratulations, man. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. Let's all give a shout out to Andre, man, in the chat. All right. If you have any questions or comments or something, put them in all caps and I'll get them going here. Melon didn't express urgency because he's more than likely already aware of what's going to be addressed during the next hearing. People forget there's a schedule that's deliberately throttling. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. He may very well know what they're going to testify about. Sure. I think Christian Harloff said yesterday that Chris and Lou and Gallaudet will be the 3 guys at the hearing, so that proves everyone can make mistakes because it changes all the time. Yeah. I mean, I stated that in my video multiple times. Yeah, no one came after Harloff, man. I'm just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Again, what Christian does, what I do, very similar. We don't have sources. We don't have any of that stuff. We're just talking about nonchalantly, average Joe, talking about what's being said, what's being talked about, and just trying to bring a little critical thinking, right? A little just nuance and just opinions about this, quite simply. Just putting a mirror up to it, talking about it, and that's it. And encouraging open dialogue about the topic. And Christian's awesome, man. Love his channel. Of course, you guys know that. Rule of thumb: forget Twitter. Don't even post there. It's a dumpster fire of nuclear waste. Yeah, trust me, very much can be. And I'm very limited on there. It's not like I have a personal account; it's just vetted, right? I just promote the show in there. I mean, it's a platform. I have to do what I have to do. I gotta suck it up. I gotta put my big boy pants on. You know. And again, to be fair, like at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad it got brought up because it gives me a chance to talk about this stuff and address it. And I think it brings up bigger points that are absolutely worth addressing. No question. Sorry, I was reading a message. I had reached out to John Greenwald to just get his advice a little bit on how to approach this. That's what I do. reach out to people I respect and want to get their opinion, and talk about it a little bit. He left me a nice message. All right. Dude, I love your vids and this chat rocks. Absolutely. Thank you, legend. You're the man, dude. I mean, it's not really much more for me to say here, to be honest with you. So I'll just hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. And I want to get some of y'all's comments or concerns. Okay, again, put it in all caps so I can put it up, even if it's just a comment you want me to put on the screen. Marky, Mr. Melon, doesn't this have to be the most important hearing of your life and matter to humanity, and yet you want to go on a booked vacay? Can't you reschedule? Yeah, I mean, again, I realize there could be more information. Okay, that's a caveat I'm throwing in here. But on the surface, I'm definitely disappointed by that answer. Patrick, you're gaining notice, and people always be jealous of people that makes it. The bigger you get, the more followers you have, but more jealous people will be around for sure. And I definitely do not think Douglas is jealous of me by no means. And again, we had a great conversation behind the scenes, and totally respect the guy and what he does. He takes this topic far more seriously than I do, and does far better work, right? And what he reports and all of that. Again, I'm here for entertainment purposes only. I cannot claim to be a journalist. I have no training. I have no background of any of that. I don't want to just start getting sources. I don't know what I'm doing. Again, I just don't even want to get into that. The way sources are in this community, people try to put out crazy information all the time that I report on, right? I don't believe 99% of the stuff that goes out, y'all. Because there's never anything to back it up. It's nice to hear. It's interesting, but it stops there. I have a hard time with so much of it. It's really hard. But again, I think it's entertaining, and the questions it asks are some of the biggest questions humanity faces. So it's well worth, looking into and talking about it. That's what keeps me in it. And again, all the millions of people across the world who have had personal experiences with this phenomena, I do not discount that. But the government aspect of it, God, it's so hard to trust, man. It's just so hard to trust anybody with, government or even military background making claims. It just is. And it's getting harder, not easier. The more you find out, the more you start, start to see how the hot dogs are made. And I promise you, you do not want to see that. Now, other people, yes, I definitely get a lot of hate. And I know these videos get around. I know people watch them. I get it. Imagine for a moment that this entire thing is bullshit, and that's why this hearing isn't more important to Melon. It's just how he makes a living. I mean, I don't think this is how he makes a living. He's definitely far well off. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't connect this with the whole phenomena. There's the UFO or UAP phenomena, and then there's this push for disclosure through the government. That's two separate things to me. It's not entertainment. I'm not saying it's entertainment. I'm saying for me, this channel is for entertainment purposes only, because I'm not claiming to have knowledge that you don't have. I'm not claiming to know things you don't know. I don't claim to have the truth and the answers. And listen to me, follow me. You will get the truth. And I got sources that are telling me this and confirming this. And then I don't do any of that BS. And the reason I say it's for entertainment purposes only, I mean no insult by that. I just mean I'm looking at it like you, as an everyday person who's not had any experience in the phenomena, and just asking questions and curious about all this. So start a YouTube channel and I report on it every day. It's that simple. Again, I have a lot of respect for real journalism out there about this topic, i.e., Matt Laszlo, what John Greenwald does, right? Like, I mean, come on, that's great stuff. I'm all about it, but I am not them. Patrick, next time you use the word will, don't forget the speech marks. That way, the slow people will get it. No, fair. Do you think we're going to hear from Trump? I don't know what that means. About UFO disclosure and stuff. I'm going to make a video on that. Kind of what Trump said and some of the most interesting things that have been said about Trump as well, and UFO disclosure. Again, not political in any way. I'm not political on the show. Never have. Never will be. I think it all sucks. Left, right, everything. I hate it all. They're all liars. I don't believe any of it. You know, people ask, well, who won on the election? Oh, I can tell you who lost: the American people. Because, in my opinion, this whole system is bunk to me. Patrick, maybe he's afraid of something or someone, if you know what I'm saying. No, I don't think that at all. I think he quite literally is going on vacation. But that's another sort of systemic issue with this topic as well, is there's always this answer of what if around this topic. So anything that gets brought up, people will go, well, what if XYZ? What if he's being threatened? What if that? And I get that the open dialogue we should be throwing around, what if that, what if that? I get it. Okay. It's just part of the dialogue and open conversation. But people will believe it to the end. Nah, he's something else is up, Again, it just becomes very hard to sift through all of this. The haystack keeps getting bigger, but not the needle. Why can't NDAs be broken if whistleblowers are outing people who are supposedly breaking the law? I agree. There's so many things I don't understand. People talk about certain stuff that I'm like, how is that not classified? You know what I mean? It's like crazy to me. And wait, this has to go through Doppler first? Like, I don't know. Again, just the water is so muddy. I literally can't see the hands in front of my eyes. You know what I mean? It's like trying to stand in just a blacked out room the size of a stadium and looking for one door on the ceiling. Good luck. Mr. Johnson's website and body of work is incredible. I agree. Again, nothing but respect for the guy. And again, we had a wonderful conversation behind the scenes. I have nothing but respect for the guy. And look, I asked him straight up what he thought about vetting. I said, I'm a big boy. You can tell me, I don't mind people criticizing vetted at all, especially from someone I respect. I would want to hear what they think, because maybe it's something I can change or I should change or whatever. Doesn't mean what they're going to tell me I'm going to implement every single thing. But yeah, of course, I love hearing feedback. Nothing wrong with that. I look forward to advice. It's like when you make a new dish as a chef, like you get other people to taste it. Hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? Especially other chefs. But you also want just normal people tasting it, because you're going to get different feedback, right? Your average person will just tell you whether or not it tastes good or not, or a few things they like about it or don't like about it. Well, that's crunchy. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that got stuck on my tooth. Oh, that, right. Another chef is going to say, oh, these components and this, and you could plate it this way, and this works together, right? You get a little more detail just different feedback. So that's all that is. But at the end of the day, he didn't know much about vetted, to be honest with you. And had seen a couple things I've done before and didn't connect it with me, and then gave me some props um, about it. So yeah, I agree, Jessica. Richard Dolan said these hearings will not change much. Mentioned the decades this has been happening in Congress. Waste of time. I can't confirm that. Let me get a couple sources to confirm this comment. I don't know. It's, again, everyone's going to have their own expectations. Oh man, I think I'm way behind, but whatever. Patrick, you're underestimating yourself. You do exactly what you should do. Question things. I'm a believer, but I do think some of these people are taking us all for a ride. Keep up the good work. Thanks, David. Yeah, man. Everyone can't be telling the truth. That also doesn't make sense. But I'm not saying everyone is lying, because that also doesn't make sense. And therein lies the problem. It would be a lot easier if it was one or the other, right? But that's also life. I watch because you tell only the things you think we would like to hear and talk about. You don't claim to be a journalist. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, exactly. Something I find interesting, let's talk about it. I promise you, if I get into anonymous sources and start spreading stories and stuff, please, oh my God, someone hit me over the head. I don't want to do that. Because again, I'm not prepared for that. I'm training for that. So I don't think that would be the right thing to do. Nor do I want to do that. Maybe someone with bigger knowledge took a seat at the hearing. Well, sure, but that's not why he's not going. At least that's what he's stating. Behind you is 36,700 people. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, got a lot of subscribers, and I appreciate every single person that subscribes and takes their time out of the day to give it to me sometimes. I agree. I don't take that for granted. And thank you for everyone that's a vetter and loves being a part of this community. Love it, honestly. And I make mistakes, and if you felt I made a mistake with that title and that thumbnail in yesterday's video, then I apologize to you. That's not my goal, again, to deceive you in any way. So if you felt that way, again, I apologize. I mean that. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the comments over here too, which are on the other side. I really should bring someone on for these live streams to help me with these comments, shouldn't I, y'all? Nothing worse I hate during a live stream is just like silence and like, you know what I mean? It's not moving along. You would have fun doing a live Q&A show in local Austin venue, coffee shop, etc. Try it, man. I'll go. That's interesting. A UFO and alien one. That actually would be kind of cool. Q&A, if that's how I did it. Been looking for a way to maybe do that, something like that. And that may be a way to do it. Yeah, it's a great suggestion. I'm sorry for all the people who couldn't read and comprehend that sentence. It is easy if you know how to read. I mean, look, Marky, again, I get it. I get it. At the end of the day, I get it. People have been accusing vetted, and maybe I have crossed some lines somewhere. Maybe I've had some questionable titles and thumbnails. Again, I'm not perfect. So that's possible. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to own up to what I did. and move forward. I get it. It's very subjective. You know, I know what I meant. Getting people to understand what I meant, well, that's called communication. Sometimes I fail at it, and sometimes it's not up to me of how people understand things that I put out. Yeah, it's just how it is. Takes two to tango, and sometimes people step on other people's feet, myself included. Sticky Green Stuff just became a YouTube member. Thank you so much, Sticky Green Stuff. Pleasure to have you aboard, brother. Or ma'am. I don't want to assume. Jessica says Gallaudet is the only one who has publicly confirmed he would be at the hearing next Wednesday, which is exciting. Yeah, but I've also hearing again what's being reported. It's being reported, not me, is that there has been no confirmation of any witnesses. I know Tim Gallaudet is saying that, but no one from Congress's side, they are confirming no witnesses. So, you know what I mean? Ugh. I'm tired, y'all. Tired of this. Bowl. Just kidding. You're totally human, and you always have owned your mistakes, and you made them at least while I've been subbed. Yeah, I try, and I mean, maybe I don't own up to all the mistakes. Again, I'm not perfect on that either. It's hard, right? Yeah, I'm human, just like all of y'all, or maybe I'm a hybrid. All right, well, I'm giving up on the caps lock thing. People aren't doing that. Patrick, do you have an answer to the video of the first hearing when Ryan Graves started his testimony? There was something in the edge of the table. Was that a computer animation or what else was it? What? And I don't know what you mean. Jorge Nachos. The way you posted the title to me could suggest two things: either that you were asking the question of the viewer, or perhaps you intend to answer the question regarding whether he will be. That's fair. That's fair. That's totally a fair point. I am well. Just had breakfast. I agree with Patrick 100%. The phenomenon and government disclosure should be treated separately. I still think getting disclosure through the government would work. Hell yeah, Pablo. Welcome, brother. Do you think Congress will call privatized military to the hearing or to a new hearing? No, as long as they're not on vacation. Even if the government said it's all true and rolled out a dead alien with a flying saucer, a good number of people would still refuse to believe it. Maybe. Let's try it. Let's find out. You know what I mean? Because if you don't roll out any of that, people will definitely not believe it. Right? That's the other side of that coin. But I think far more people would believe it than you think. Stop spreading rumors. Just kidding. I just got here. Yeah. That's funny. And remember, we love to laugh on this channel. We all need a little levity. Life is hard. This topic is hard. We can laugh a little bit in here. Doesn't mean we don't take it serious. It doesn't mean, right? I love laughing, and I'm always going to spread that message. Bro, this is a good show. Screw everyone else. You don't need to explain yourself if they don't like it. F them. I hear you. And it's more just for anybody laying this out, right? And kind of for myself, if I'm being honest. This is very helpful to myself to just say all this like this than thinking about it. You know what I mean? And like this is me thinking out loud in a lot of ways. It helps me. Again, if I did like one video a week, I probably would not make a video like this, but I do one every day. So I feel like I should, allowed one here or there to kind of do this kind of thing. And I did cover new information from Chris Melon. Ned says, but do we know who exactly is going to be there anyway? According to the government side, the House side, the Congress, they are not confirming any witnesses. Other people have come out and claimed that they're going to be there or testify or this or that, but we don't know officially. The backyard professor BYP is a fan of you, and you should work with him, Patrick. I don't know who that is. It's a cool name, backyard professor. I'll look that up. Oh wow, I'm way behind in the comments. All right, let me catch up here. Did you see the Skinwalker team is doing a live event here in Dallas this January? I did not. That's very cool. We are getting to 40K vetters. Keep it up. That's right, y'all. If we get to 40K, I'm going to spread the biggest rumor you ever heard. That's a promise. I asked Dean some specific questions that I kind of needed to know the answer to sort of judge who he is for myself as well. And thankfully he answered in a way that made me respect him a lot more. Let's put it that way. Dude, do your show for you. I learned a long time ago to make videos for me. Those who love what you do will follow. You fell in a topic that can be very frustrating as part of the journey. Yeah, well said. Well said, man. Totally agree with that. Well said. People always find something negative to say, even if the message you put out is just out of curiosity. My grandpa used to say, if you don't have something nice to say nothing at all. Well said, Con. Yeah. Again, it comes with the territory, y'all. Again, this video is about me mad and, fighting back. And, it's nothing like that. I just, again, wanted to take one video for me, talk about how I'm feeling. Maybe some of y'all are feeling the same way and can relate, and again, just my responsibilities here at the channel. I try to be very transparent about that. And I can't put that kind of stuff in every video I make. All right. Especially if you don't hang out with me in Discord and get to hear more nuanced takes from me just on a day-to-day basis about this topic. Right. Really get to know where I'm coming from. So I get it. Right. Depending on how far deep into me, right? How far that goes. I get it. I paused the Manhattan Alien Abduction on Netflix to watch you today. Have you seen it? Well, thank you, Leighton. That's very kind of you. I have seen it, and I thought it was well made, well put together. I don't want to spoil anything for you. I don't know how much you know, but I saw the whole thing, so I'm not clearly you paused it. You haven't watched the whole thing. Definitely finish it. It's awesome. I wanted to make a video about it, to be honest with you. Maybe I feel like time has passed. I missed my opportunity to, so maybe I haven't. I don't know. But yeah, great show. I really enjoyed the documentary. If y'all don't know, it's the Manhattan alien abduction on Netflix. That's right. What is it? Bud Hopkins and Linda. Oh man, what is her name? Can't remember her full name. No, I don't have it. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, well worth seeing. Ned said, yeah, he's good. Good, Patrick. Nice guy. Just recently subbed to his channel, Backyard Professor. Very cool. All right, guys. Well, there you go. Patrick, can you do a show on Zodiac Killer? Do a deep dive? I love the Zodiac story. You know, that's another thing about Vetted. I started Vetted with the idea to cover just mysteries in general, right? But the UFO one was the most interesting to me at the time. But as this channel grows, I will expand into other topics, ancient civilizations, maybe these sort of murder mysteries, just mysteries in general, right? I do like it having sort of a high strangeness to it. But yeah, you know, who knows where the road will take us? I sound like, what is this, Back to the Future? Heiser says, I heard a rumor that Patrick has a rumor to share. Very good, Heiser. Love it. Love that. That's funny. All right, guys, I'm going to go a couple more minutes and I'm going to call it. Hey, Patrick, can I have a signature from you? Sure. You know how people do that on an autograph? It's like, wow. There's always some like massive, like, you know what I mean? Like they're fencing after they sign their autograph. I do that too. You know, wah, 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 right off the page. Come on. You're not signing an autograph unless you're doing a big, you know, thing at the end there. This is inside baseball, but very funny joke. If it's all about Todd's alien bunker, we all know. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. What other topics? Oh, what other topics do you think you will eventually cover? You mentioned branching out recently. Yeah, like I was saying, other mysteries, right? Ancient civilizations, just missing person stuff, maybe some murder mysteries. Again, I like things with high strangeness, maybe even some cryptid stuff, mysteries of the universe. I don't know. Right, things that interest me. First, probably ancient civilization stuff, you know, i.e., Graham Hancock and that sort of realm. I'm fascinated by our history on this planet and where we may have come from. And realizing that we don't understand our history entirely is fascinating to me. And that some of those questions that we think are answered could maybe be different. That's intriguing. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna call it here. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Again, I do appreciate it. Again, it was a little insider baseball, so thank you for hanging out. You know, some of you strong betters, I really do appreciate it. Got a lot of stuff off my chest. We discussed a few things, and just know that there's good intentions in my heart. I mean that. I may make mistakes. In fact, I will make mistakes, but in no way am I trying to deceive any of you in any way. I promise the deception is not coming from me. You know, I'm reporting on what other people are saying. Try to give as much context as I can to you, present it in a format that I think is digestible, and not take it too seriously. Again, this channel is for entertainment purposes only at the end of the day. And you could decide how seriously you take things. But just know that I'm here every day to talk about it, no matter what's happening. And I'll be as transparent as I can, promote an open dialogue about the topic always in this community. And I want to build the vetted community apart from the UFO community. It's what we're doing, splitting it off from that. But I'm glad, again, this all brought up a lot of things that I think were worthy of talking about. So I appreciate Dean Johnson for his comments, and especially our dialogue behind the scenes. And I respect him and what he does, and, zero issues. Of course, I'm not like that. Y'all know me on this channel. Just want to, why can't we all get along, right? I end every day with the same positive message, right? So again, thank y'all for watching, vetters, and thank y'all mods for, dealing with the chat. Like, I can't do it without y'all. So thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate it. And thank y'all for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have another wonderful rumor for you. We'll get this going. Remember, y'all, every day's a gift. Peace.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.